some point, the math is the math.
I think we can do a better job using that information.
It reinforces my belief that I have the best constituents.
Hello, District 6. It is our end of the year Clawback episode. We have made the set a little more festive. I'm wearing my Christmas holiday sweater. I'm so glad y'all are joining us for the episode today. We're going to do something a little different today, hence the change, hence the new backdrop. When you have, on the council, in my experience, when you have something really controversial or really difficult, it really takes all the oxygen out of the room. And so up to the Land Development Code vote that we took last week, which we have covered in just about every episode of the Clawback, it really pushed off all the other work of the city to the last 8 days, frankly. So I'm going to go quickly through a very long list of things we worked on. If you have questions or comments about these things, put it in the comments on the video. I'll be happy to come back and engage later. But in order to keep this video short and to get to the fun stuff that we've done this year, I'm going to go pretty quick. So I have my notes because there's been so many things. And again, this is just in the last 8 days. Here we go. We talked about hotel occupancy tax monies for commercial music. That was a vote we took this year, and it was a meeting with some professional musicians, including some musician organizers in our live music capital of the world, to talk about what that process is going to look like and to ensure that it's done correctly with all of the engagement from the musicians themselves. Met with the United Way, talked about their engagement with the city and the operations of 211. 211 is like a 911 or a 411 or a 311 where you can call if you need service. If you need social service, you can call 211. That's operated by the United Way. And we actually had 2 conversations about that just in the last 8 days. I met with another group that does kind of like user interface, user experience work with government services. And we talked about that and how to take that, all of the services that are provided in our community, how to make them more accessible and more understandable to the folks that the services are for. So that was something that we did this week. We had a meeting about our ongoing efforts to build more sports recreational facilities in District 6, specifically a partnership project we've been working on with the YMCA in the 4 Points area. The YMCA has been a great partner. The city does a partner YMCA in the Runberg area. We're thinking about how that might work in far northwest Austin. They've already started doing some programming at facilities in the district, at churches out in the 4 Points area, and we're working with partners to figure out how to move that project forward. Talked to a housing developer who is looking to build affordable housing for seniors in District 6. This is a big missing need in District 6. I meet seniors who are aging out of their homes. They had their family homes and their homes are too big for their families as the families moved out, and they're looking to stay in the community that they have come to love, but are finding it very hard to find senior kind of appropriate housing. And so that was a great conversation. Hopefully we'll see that come to District 6 soon. Had a phone call and a conversation with Apple. Yeah, so part of my job is also to, call up and talk to Apple. And talked about their campus expansion happening in District 6, specifically concerns the community is having around trees and tree protection. It was a great conversation. Apple already is going farther than is mandated, but they're willing partners with the Environmental Commission and our office to make sure that they're doing everything possible to preserve as many trees on that property as they can. Had a wonderful lunch with Judge Aurora Martinez-Jones, who is now also a judge-elect for a court. She is running unopposed. Congratulations to Judge Martinez-Jones. Her focus is family law, and we talked about criminal justice and how it intersects with the city. In some cases, intersects with homelessness. As we've talked about on this program, 70% of the kids who age out of foster care, 70% age out into homelessness. And that is a complicated system that is failing them, from the state that runs the foster care system to the criminal justice and the courts that operate that system, kind of managing it, to the city, who then ends up having to provide social services to those kids. So that was a really fascinating conversation. A lot of work yet to be done there, but great to have a wonderful partner like Judge Martinez-Jones on the court. Speaking of courts, talked with city real estate about the new municipal court that is opening in Southeast Austin. This has been a passion project for me. I chair the judicial committee on the city council. And so when I took that chairmanship about a year and a half ago, we needed a new court. We took a tour of the existing downtown court. The building is falling apart. There are rooms that have asbestos. There are pipes that are bursting. You know, you can't operate a city if you don't have a functional municipal court. And that had been a problem for decades. We made that a priority and we got it done. And we'll have a ribbon cutting hopefully in the next 4 months. That'll be exciting. We talked with 3 different groups about our resolution that we passed in August about the Asian Resource Center, Asian American Resource Center, and the Rutherford campus, which is the Asian Community Center, and then all of the city buildings that are adjoining to it. We've directed staff, had a unanimous vote from the council to explore a public-private partnership on the full property. That way we can best leverage the bond dollars that were voter approved, but also build the thing out and not have it take 30 and 40 years, and better maximize the use of the Rutherford property since the city is in the process of getting out all of this leased, expensive leased spaces for our offices into land and buildings that we own. It's much better for the taxpayers for that to happen. And so we had 3 different conversations just this week about that process. Hopefully we'll have a lot more updates on that in March, April, May next year as we go through hiring consultants for studying the market and what commercial real estate will handle. I hope I'm not running out of time here. I still have half a list to go. I had meetings with staff in the Office of Performance Management about what the plans are to adjust to revenue caps. That's the thing that the state did to the city that really undermines our ability to pay for police, fire, EMS, parks, and libraries, which if you've watched prior episodes, you know, those are the 5 departments that are paid for with property taxes. Police, fire, EMS, parks, and libraries. And so I was really encouraged to hear that we're going to see, we've already seen a little bit, but we're going to see more in January, February, contracts with consultants to come in and do efficiency audits. You know, we had that big fight, that Prop K fight over efficiency audits, not because efficiency audits are bad, but because what was written into that ordinance was terrible law. And with Prop K being defeated, now we can actually do efficiency work in the way that makes the most sense. So we'll see that starting next year. Had meetings with our amazing Williamson County Commissioner, Precinct 1, Terry Cook, and her staff talking about some development projects that are happening right on the county line, the line between the city and the county. We have one project in particular that's part city, part county, but it's a single development. So we had some great conversations with Commissioner Cook about how we're going to be partnering on that moving forward. Met with some District 6 neighborhood leaders about their concerns in the Land Development Code about properties immediately adjacent to their neighborhood. And I got to commend the Summit Oaks neighborhood. They did an unbelievable job compiling the information, pulling in all the old agreements that they could find, citing the property ID numbers so that we could cross-reference it back to city staff. Did a great job working with our office to get that information. We're going to work with city staff to see how much of that we can move forward in the LDC. Oh boy, here we're still going. There's another zoning case coming in District 6, kind of in the Forest North neighborhood area, which is tricky because that area is like half city, half not city. But there's a property that is surrounded by duplexes and some multifamily and some conversation about what that property should turn into. It's kind of an empty land with one house on it right now. But it's complicated because the property owner went and cut down all the trees before they had the permission to cut down the trees. So that's not great. And I certainly don't look kindly on developers that aren't going to work with our office. In fact, they hadn't even met with our office before they started down that path, before they went to the zoning commission. So that's going to be an interesting conversation come January, February. We had several conversations about the future of public transportation. We met with Cap Metro. We met with some city staff. And we passed a resolution in August making sure that whatever we do in this coming year, which you might have seen as Project Connect, but really is a city project with Project Connect, that we get through all of the hard analysis on funding, oversight, accountability, methodologies, all of that work. I don't just take a report for granted. I go back and I ask the hard questions. We started that work this week. Whatever it is that we do on public transportation next year, you can be assured that I am dotting every I and crossing every T. Met with Restaurant Association, talked about some restaurant concerns, met with some constituents on concerns they have with Round Rock ISD and some attendance zone areas. I am not in the business of getting involved in school attendance zone conversations, but I'm always a willing ear and can help connect you to some of our great school board members who I know want to have those conversations. And we met with my amazing colleague, Natasha Harper-Madison, talking about a conference her and I are going to be speaking at in Dallas in January to help educate advocates on how to best engage with their municipalities and to not ignore them. There's a lot of advocacy groups that I have found really want to play the state and federal game, and they miss all these great opportunities for good substantive work at the local level. I'm way over time, but I got the list, all of that done last 8 days. All of it done the last 8 days. Seems crazy. All right, so the other thing, going so fast, the other thing I want to do, I want to show you some photos. So the photos I'm going to show you are from the kind of non-policy fun stuff just from 2019. So we start here with the State of the District event we did at Alamo Drafthouse. Hopefully we can do that again next month. That was a lot of fun. Had all of our elected officials come in and talk to the community. We had these great maps about all the work and projects that had been completed in 2018. Be ready to see that coming in 2020 as well. We completed the renaming of a water treatment plant out in 4 Points after former council member and the first African American to serve on the city council post Reconstruction, and a District 6 resident, the amazing Burl Hancocks, got to complete that project and get his name on that amazing facility in District 6. I did actually dress up as Freddie Mercury and sing at the halftime of a Cedar Park, I think it's Austin Spurs basketball game. In the back, it's the Rocket Choir. Thank you, Julie, for inviting me to come and do that. As anyone who knows me knows that I don't do anything halfway. And so when she asked me to come and sing with them, I said, this is how it's going to go. And there you can see, I can't even believe it looking at it myself. I did a ride along with APD. Now, this was pretty policy focused, but it was so fascinating. And the officer was so good at explaining what he was experiencing and how that intersects with policy, but not just at the city level, stuff that's happening at the state level. And this officer in particular is even working on some legislative recommendations for our delegation, and I'll be helping him, hopefully helping him work that through the system next year to make the job our officers do more efficient and more effective. The dotting of the I, Amy Wong Mok, who owns the Asian American Cultural Center, that's on Charlieville, different from the Resource Center in East Austin. She's done the dragon boat races for many years. She's always invited me out to come and ceremoniously dot the I on the dragon. That's always a really cool event. The Veterans Parade, there were 3 different parades I have photos of in here. This is the Veterans Parade, and our own District 6 Westwood High School ROTC was there marching in the Veterans Parade downtown. Of course, just last night, I was in the Nutcracker again, reprising my role as Mother Ginger. Thanks again to Cookie Ruiz and Ballet Austin for inviting me to return. From what anyone can remember, I'm the only person to do it 2 years in a row, in part because last year I filled in last second when Kendra Scott got sick. Saying phrases like that sometimes makes me wonder how crazy my life is. But indeed, this did happen last night, and it was a ton of fun. Even saw some District 6 folks in the audience afterwards. Councilmember Alter and I went and served food at the HEB Feast of Sharing. That was a great event. My father was an HEB executive. My boyfriend works for HEB. He's a service manager at a Cedar Park store. This was a great event, and thanks to Jeff Thomas and the HEB team for giving us the opportunity to serve the public with HEB, as frankly, I think we all do with HEB. That was a great event. Got to judge a cooking contest for a Boy Scout troop. The funniest part about this to me was that we were in the parking lot at Bethany United Methodist on Anderson Mill judging their dessert cooking contest. It was good. It was pretty good, but I was really glad to hang out with the Scout troop and their parents that night. That was a lot of fun. Pinballs Lake Creek invited me to MC their Halloween contest. There's so many great photos, and in fact, on all of these, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see all the photos. But this one in particular was, I would probably argue, the most Austin of the costumes, and completely adorable. The Pride Parade, getting to lead the Pride Parade. Of course, I've been in that parade many times. I used to be in charge of that parade. But to have a presidential candidate, an openly gay presidential candidate, and one whom I've endorsed, Pete Buttigieg, joining me at the front of that parade. Not something I would have ever expected in my lifetime. Neither a gay presidential candidate nor having one joining me at the front of the Pride Parade here in Austin. That was a pretty cool experience. Here's the Juneteenth parade. Always a fun opportunity to join most of the council and city departments through East Austin, handing out candy as is traditional for that parade. I've done that for a number of years. This was the Asian American Chamber of Commerce Gala. They did a live auction, and they were auctioning off me and Police Chief Manley, kind of a day with the chief and a day with the council member. And as I am wont to do, when it was my turn, I took the mic and did the live auction myself. Was a lot of fun. Was not the first time I've done a live auction of myself, but this one was a lot of cool to do it with Chief Manley. Over the summer, I was on a trade mission to China. It's almost unreal to think that an Austin City Council member at a district level would be operating on international stage. This photo in particular, giving a speech at a conference on U.S.-China trade relations. Former U.S. senators in the room, former ambassadors in the room. I was the only currently elected official to be at that conference. That was an amazing experience. Got to see also Seoul, South Korea, in addition to Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and Chengdu. And earlier this week, I sang with my amazing friend and constituent and Human Rights Commissioner, Courtney Santana, with her band and friends at their Christmas show at the Parker Jazz Club. A really awesome experience. You can see I'm wearing the same sweater in that photo that I'm wearing now. It's my Christmas sweater. Gonna get the most use out of it. That's all the fun stuff. I am horribly over my time, but it's the end of the year, and I just want to thank everybody for the amazing year that we've had in 2019. I'm going to switch back to the main view. I want to thank everybody, my staff, my chief of staff, Marty, my policy director, Nathan, Lizzie, who runs the phones and does all the constituent services. If you've ever called the office needing help, you probably spoke to Lizzie. Kate, who helps me with all of the communications and media, but also works on tourism issues. She's been unbelievable. Our newest staff member, Frankie, who helps out making sure we're not letting stuff fall through the cracks. All of our boards and commissioners who have been amazing support for the district and leaders for District 6 on the 40, 50, 60 boards and commissions that we have. Amazing work there. Our volunteer political leadership team, Dale, Mel, Tanya, and Ruben, who help me do all of the non-policy stuff in the district, knocking on doors, holding meetings, doing engagement. We did all the dining room table conversations earlier this year where we got to have small group meetings and talk about anything people wanted to talk about. It was really a lot of fun. And our network of neighborhood ambassadors across District 6 that the political leadership team helps manage. What an unbelievable experience we've been. 3 years in, we're headed into the re-election. And that's what I want to close with. Thank you to everyone who has supported me to help get this job, all of the hard work everyone has done. 2020, it's time to do it again. And we're going to be celebrating the holidays with our family and friends, our chosen family, all across our community. And then when it gets to 2020, it's time to do this thing one more time. So if you want, after Christmas, you can join me for my birthday. It's December 29th. We'll be at Serrano's up by Lakeline Mall. But you can also make your donations on the web, jimmyflannigan.com. I'm going to go over to the title credits. Thank you again. 13 episodes of the Clawback. We're going to try bigger and better stuff next year. But please make your donations. Help support the campaign. Help us keep all this amazing work continuing into 2020 and beyond. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, District 6.